Have you ever had a day like that? A day when the world feels unbearably cold and you feel like you've been left behind all alone. On days like that, I turn to Iranian films. After watching them, it feels like sitting by a warm fireplace, sharing freshly baked bread. The Iran we see in the news often feels intimidating. Angry faces, shouted slogans, and frightening words like war and nuclear weapons follow every headline. So people come to see Iran as a dangerous place, a country to keep your distance from. But something doesn't quite add up, because films from that frightening country draw some of the purest tears in cinema. Children crying and laughing over a single pair of shoes. A son struggling to care for his father with dementia. And a grandmother who offers a bed to a complete stranger. The people in Iranian films remind us of the basic humanity we've forgotten. How can one country have two such different faces? Which one is real? Today, through the window of Iranian cinema, we'll look at the soft, warm heart hidden beneath that hard shell. And at the end, a thought that may quietly change the way we see our own lives awaits us. Let's begin with Children of Heaven, the masterpiece that moved audiences around the world. The main character is a kind older brother named Ali. One day, Ali loses Zara's shoes on his way back from the market. Their family is too poor to ask for a new pair. So Ali and Zara agree to keep it a secret from their parents. They begin sharing Ali's worn-out sneakers. When Zara finishes her morning classes and sprints home, Ali takes the damp shoes and runs to school himself. Look closely at this moment. They never blame each other. Instead, they worry about each other, about being late, about the shoes getting wet. Here, we discover the first defining trait of Iranian people, an endless sense of responsibility to family and dignity that survives even in poverty. Ali never blames anyone else for losing the shoes. Even as a child, he tries to solve the problem on his own. Children in Iranian films often feel like adults in small bodies. Their early maturity reflects Iran's harsh reality, but also shows that love is what ultimately carries them through. The film reaches its peak during a marathon race. Ali isn't running to win first place. He's running to win the third-place prize, a pair of shoes. But when he crosses the finish line, he comes in first. The other kids celebrate, but Ali breaks down in tears because he can no longer give the shoes to his sister. This moment asks us a question. What does first place mean to you? Is it glory earned by beating others, or a pair of shoes for someone you love? Iranians believe the latter is far more valuable. They value intention over outcome. In the final scene, fish gently brush against Ali's swollen feet, as if the world itself is offering comfort for his pure heart. Now, let's step into a more complicated adult world. It's A Separation, the film that swept the Berlin Film Festival and the Academy Awards. This film presents a far more realistic portrait of Iran than the one before. The film opens with a couple filing for divorce. Simin wants to emigrate for her daughter's education, while Nader refuses, insisting he must care for his father who has dementia. When a poor housekeeper enters their lives, an unexpected incident unfolds, and the characters end up facing each other in court. What we should pay close attention to in this film is this. Iranians often value religion and honor more than life itself, even when the characters are forced into situations where lying seems unavoidable. They hesitate when asked to swear on the Quran, because lying before God is more frightening to them than death. Iranians are deeply sensitive and nuanced people. They consider the other person's dignity, even in a single word, and cannot bear having their honor diminished. This is not a battle between good and evil. It is a struggle of people who want to tell the truth, but waver to protect their families. Through this film, we realize that Iranians are neither simple nor rough people. They suffer under moral standards far stricter than ours, shedding tears to preserve their pride and dignity. The reason Iranian films resonate worldwide is that the struggles they portray belong to all of us. Now, let's turn back time to Iran in the 1970s. For those who only know today's Iran, this may be hard to believe. At the time, Tehran was known as the Paris of the Middle East. Take a look at the color photographs of Tehran's streets. Young women walk freely with stylish short hair and miniskirts instead of hijabs. Record stores play the latest pop and rock music. And college students sit together at outdoor cafes, drinking beer and debating philosophy and art. Iran's national universities were world-class, and women's participation in society was far more active than it is today. Iranians didn't see this prosperity as merely having money. They believed it was a revival of Persian civilization, thousands of years in the making. They embraced Western technology without abandoning their artistic roots. In science, medicine, and architecture, Iran was a regional leader. But rapid change left some feeling alienated. And in 1979, a massive earthquake, called the Islamic Revolution, shook the nation. After the revolution, the color of Tehran changed overnight. Colorful billboards were replaced with religious slogans, and women's clothing was standardized into black chadors. Young people who once danced freely could no longer sing in the streets. That warm and simple image we see in Iranian films is in fact the last remaining pride and comfort of people who lost everything that once sparkled. Here, we must learn one crucial word to understand the Iranian mindset. That word is taraf. Without it, their behavior is almost impossible to understand. This comes from a real story told by a Japanese traveler in Iran. Unable to find a taxi, he was walking down the street dragging heavy luggage. At that moment, a local man pushing a cart approached him. "Where are you headed?" After hearing the situation, the man silently loaded the luggage onto his cart. He walked several kilometers and delivered the luggage all the way to the hotel. The traveler reached for some money to thank him. The man waved his hand and replied, "No, I can't take money from a friend who came to visit Iran." Thinking it was just politeness, the traveler offered again. The man refused again. After refusing a third time, he simply walked away. What matters in this moment is not whether he truly intended to take the money. This is tarof. In Iranian society, I do not treat you as money, I treat you first as a human being, is expressed through refusal, and that refusal itself is deep courtesy. Some might call this hypocrisy. But to Iranians, tarof is not hypocrisy, it is pride. It's a declaration that money matters less than the person in front of me. Life is harsh under economic sanctions, and even eating meat once a day is difficult. Yet they refuse to appear undignified in front of others, a posture befitting descendants of Persian nobility. That is tarof. In a separation, the reason people suffered so deeply between truth and lies lies in this culture of honor and face shaped by tarof. They would rather starve than lose their dignity. The greatest tragedy of Iran today is that such a cultivated people are being crushed by politics of an unbearably low standard. An Iranian filmmaker in exile once said in an interview, "At home, we are poets and philosophers. But the moment we step outside, we feel like criminals. When we show our hair, when we sing, or when we speak of freedom, the law of the country turns against us." But Iranians do not stop. Filmmaker Jafar Panahi was ordered by the government not to make films for 20 years. But he refused to submit. He filmed his daily life on an iPhone, saved it on a USB, hid it inside a cake, and sent it to the Cannes Film Festival. That film moved audiences worldwide and won awards. Iranians are like beautiful flowers trapped in a small box. The box is too small for them to bloom fully, yet their fragrance escapes through the cracks, softening the entire world. The reason Iranian films warm our hearts is because even inside that box, their resilient and gentle spirit continues to bloom. There is one more hidden territory in Iran that maps don't show. It is their living rooms. Iranians live two completely different lives, divided by their front doors. When they step outside, women cover themselves in black cloth, and men walk carefully, watching their behavior. But the moment the door closes behind them, something magical happens. Women throw off the black cloth and dance to the latest pop songs. And young people debate while watching banned Western films. At first, this might seem exciting. But what if you had to live like this forever? Iranians have been performing this act for 45 years. Outside, they pretend to obey the law. Inside, they crave freedom. This is a devastating tragedy. A people who prize honesty above all else are forced to perform lies every day just to survive. The reason characters in Iranian films often appear deeply troubled and sad is because they stand on a cliff between two worlds. The system traps people, making honest lives impossible. Now, let's confront the most painful issue we can no longer ignore: the problem of simply making a living. Prices in Iran are rising at a terrifying pace. The price of chicken has reportedly increased about fivefold in just 5 years. Wages have stayed the same, while the price of a chicken or a carton of eggs rises overnight. Here, we witness the most frightening collapse: the disappearance of dignity. When hunger becomes unbearable, the human heart inevitably hardens. Arguments break out in markets over small amounts of money, and once kind neighbors turn away over finances. This is not because Iranians are bad people. Bad politics built walls between Iran and the world, and the poverty that followed is now eroding even their warmth. Those beautiful gestures we saw in films are slowly becoming relics of the past. Eventually, people who could no longer endure poured into the streets. In 2022, after a young woman died for allegedly not wearing her hijab properly, the entire country erupted. What made these protests different? They were led by young people searching for meaning and agency. They weren't just shouting, "We don't want to wear hijabs." They were saying, "We are dignified human beings. Don't cage us like animals." Imagine if a teacher tore up your drawing without warning and told you, "Draw only what I tell you to draw." Iran's youth today want to draw the picture of their own lives. Like Ali in the film, they want to wear new shoes and run not on a predetermined track, but on the path they choose themselves. That cry continues even now, silently echoing through Iran's alleyways. Now, it's time to bring today's journey to a close. Why do we feel such sorrow when we look at Iran? Because their human dignity is simply too precious to lose. Iran teaches us one powerful lesson. No matter how refined a people may be, if politics cages that energy, a nation will fall. Iranians are still warm people. Their films are still beautiful. But that warmth is not allowed to fuel progress and is used only to endure, which is Iran's greatest tragedy. Through Iranian films, we have seen human dignity. So we must ask the question, is that dignity still respected in the face of power? The day Iranian children no longer have to cry over third-place shoes, the day they can sing loudly, both inside their homes and out in the streets, that will be the day when Persia's true glory is reborn. Until then, we wait for Iran's real-life plot twist and bring today's story to an end.